Hey, everybody, this is Mike Feldbauer coming to you from the Flagler Voice podcast studios here in Palm Coast. And we have a special guest with us today. It is Anita from Natural Wellness by Anita. So, Anita, we need you to tell everybody out there a little bit about what you do, your business, your background, where it started.
Okay.
Okay, so you are on.
So, Natural Wellness by Anita. I am a holistic health practitioner and a wellness coach. My goal is to help people get healthy who are suffering from chronic diseases that want to look at nutrition and other ways to combat their issues. Um, I started my journey here probably about 14, 15 years ago. I needed to make a little extra money and I started working at Whole Foods. And that's a whole nother world when you go into Whole Foods. There's brands you've never heard of and things you've never seen before. And especially back then when I worked there, it's more mainstream now. And I would start reading these magazines I never heard of. I mean, they got magazines called What Doctors Don't Tell You. It's crazy, you know. So, I would read these things and I'd listen to what they were saying and I'd look at the food and I was like, wow, there's must be something to this food. There must be something to eating clean, to getting the chemicals out, to learning about this. So I started to change the way my family ate. I had three kids. I still have three kids, but
Thank you.
they were they were younger at the time. They were all home at that time. I had a high school student. I had my daughter was in elementary school, and my youngest was a toddler. And I was like, I started to change everything. Bringing in different kinds of snacks. I threw away the Doritos and replaced it with a different snack, and that didn't go over great all the time, but for the most part, it was okay. They were good about trying new things. I could say, and as I changed that, I and educated myself more. Just going down rabbit holes, learning different things on my own. I decided I wanted to go back to school. And so I found a school that was accredited. I did online schooling because I was still a mom and a wife and working and, had to fit it in there somewhere.
Okay.
So I did online schooling and got my diploma first in holistic health practitioner, and then decided I wanted to go a little further, and then ended up with my bachelor's degree in holistic nutrition and graduated when I was 50. And now, 2 years later, I decided that I'm getting my master's degree in integrative science. So I'm still in school again.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. I think people have to know more and more how important what you're doing is. Nutrition today is, if people would understand what's in the food they're eating, they'd
Yes.
probably stop eating altogether. You
It's
know,
scary sometimes.
yeah, and I got involved for myself because I have type 2 diabetes,
Hmm.
and I had to find a way of getting off the medications that they had me on.
Hmm.
And the doctor had me on everything: blood pressure, cholesterol, metformin, this and that. And I started doing some of my own research and
So
finding,
it's scary when you start that.
yeah, because I'm not real smart to begin with. So finding people that I felt I could trust to get the information from was the difficult thing.
Hmm.
Are you in it to help people like you are, or are you in it just for the money? Money's important. I'm not saying you're not valuable. You need to, if you have that ability, you need to be paid for it. But if that's the primary reason you're doing it, then
Yeah,
you're in the wrong
if
place.
that's your motivation. Yeah.
And that's what it was. That was what about. So yours, give us a little bit more information on what you're doing.
So I work with individuals. I have a signature program that's 12 weeks or 3 months long that I meet with an individual once a week. And I tailor it to that individual. So every program I do is different. It's going to be different for everybody. Where we begin, what we're going to do, what I'm going to recommend. Um, I include a vitamin mineral deficiency test with that, along with a sugar monitor, because I need a baseline to understand where everybody is. And not everybody has the ability to go to their doctor and ask for these tests because, number one, they don't always listen to you when you ask for them. So, so it's just easier. I include it with the 12-week program. And then I also have another two other programs that are they're mini. They're called the mini. One's a seed oil clean out, which is a very hot topic, seed oils, and the other one is a toxic free home, where I help with individuals understand what's in their hygiene products and in their cleaning products, and So I help them to get rid of the stuff that's, you know, and help them replace it. Like I can take it as far as, like, especially if it's local, I can take it as far as taking them to the grocery store and helping them shop for it if we need to. So,
That's great. That's great because I can know again what I was going through, and I got to the point in life, and I'm not going to show it to everybody, but I just show you my picture from before, and that I knew I needed to do something, and I knew it was because of my eating.
mhm.
Before I retired, I was on the road 130, 140 days a year, and your eating habits get really out of control. You don't see yourself as it changes, okay?
It happens slowly.
Until somebody takes a picture of it and then shoves it in your face. And then you say, who's that? And I decided I needed to get healthy, not just for me, but for my family.
Hmm.
You know, I got a wife, I got a daughter, I got a grandson, I got a son-in-law. I want to be around for him. So I started doing that study. And my doctor was not happy.
I'm not surprised.
You know, I said, hey, listen, we're going to do this. And then we're going to test. We're going to reduce the amount of medication one at a time and see if what I'm doing is the effect
Hmm.
or not. Well, I'm not going to reduce it. I said, you don't have to. I'm going to reduce it. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Because,
what you're supposed to. You're supposed to work with them. He's supposed to work with you. You know, they, in defense of the doctors and nurses, they do not go through nutrition training. They do not learn what our food does in our body, let alone what the chemicals that are in our food are doing to our body. So, you know, when I work with individuals that do have doctors, and that my client's goal is to get off of medication, I like to work with the doctor, so to speak. Like, I will never tell somebody to come off medication. The doctor has to be the one to do that. But it's always better for the client to let their doctor know what they're doing, because the doctor's going to be in shock the day they come in and they're like, well, I don't even know why you're taking this anymore.
yeah. And like you, I found that I needed, when I do my blood work, to add certain vitamins into that test to make sure my levels are at the proper level
Hmm.
for those so I can either adjust one way or the other. They weren't doing that. And then you learn that in the cholesterol test, that most of the cholesterol tests are 100% worthless. I learned that, LDL has 3 different levels of size.
Yes.
And if it's the small ones, those are the dangerous ones. I
Hmm.
mean, it's not as much. And the big fluffy ones are no big deal.
Yep.
But if they don't check that and break it down for you and then check from one test to another, you don't know where you're going.
Well, the other thing is a lot of doctors don't stay up on what's new and what's been learned. And so the fluffy dense test, that's what I call it, that's been around for over 10, 15, maybe 20 years. It's been around for a very long time. And most doctors still do not do that test unless you have to ask and usually twist an arm to get it. And then as far as cholesterol goes, there's so many new studies out there now, and they are tying the sticky cholesterol to sugar. So it's because our body needs cholesterol, and back in the early 1900s, the 50s, the 60s, people's cholesterol was high. We're talking 300, 200, like their cholesterol was high. And all of a sudden we started lowering cholesterol and getting it lower and lower, and people were getting sicker and sicker. Something's not working. So I think the cholesterol got a bad rap, and it wasn't entirely its fault.
Yeah, I've heard of some of that medication, that cholesterol that they give you, which is probably one of the most popular medications in the world, shouldn't be given to anybody unless they had a heart attack.
Hmm.
You don't do it prior.
Correct.
And so all those kinds of things, but it goes together with what I heard you talking about. You're talking about seed oil.
Hmm.
People just think, oh, well, that's better than, no.
Well, it's so hard anymore to read labels. Very dangerous when you read the label, because I can go to the grocery store and I always have high hopes sometimes that the label's changed, and I'll pick it up and look at it and I'm like, oh no, still there. Dang. But you're looking for seed oils, you're looking for, natural additives that are really not natural. They have ways to get all this stuff in there that just, this stuff's not good. It's not good for our bodies. We can't process it. And like even vitamin B12, 90% of what you buy that has vitamin B12 attitude is coming from cyanide. It's a basis of that. Not cyanide like cyanide, but it has that in the name. So it is in that family. Let's say that. and a lot of people don't even realize it, that they can't methylate a B vitamin.
Well,
So
here's the funny thing. When you go look at those labels, most of those labels say, and natural flavors.
yes,
Well, there's some pretty bad stuff that are
yes,
natural flavors. You don't go out and pick up the poof on the lawn and mix it into your food. That's a natural flavor,
yeah, yeah.
and that's what's
It's
happening.
no,
So
it's really bad. It's, we've been hoodwinked, and unfortunately, it's not mainstream yet. It's slowly going and getting out there, and people are realizing it. But I think we have a long road to go before we get there, and it's really hard because the food is made addictive. There's so many studies and so many books that you can read. Sugar, Salt, and Fat by Mike. No, it's not him, but I don't remember the author. But that book talks about how these foods are made so that we have a bliss point, and they test them to get it to that bliss point so that we get addicted to it. And sugar highlights in your brain the same things that cocaine highlights. It's very
exactly,
addictive.
exactly. People don't realize, and I always get the name of the company wrong, but 10, 15 years ago when cigarettes were on a downside, people were starting,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was Phillips or one of those other tobacco companies, bought craft food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, do you know that the food companies use the same tactics to advertise that they used when they were advertising the cigarettes?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Yep. So that cheese that was coming from them had addicted other stuff
The
in
question
it.
is, was it cheese though?
Probably not.
That's the question.
Probably not.
I mean, if you were to look at the ingredient list on a Kraft slice, the cheese that comes in the
Yeah.
little wrappers, I haven't picked one up in 10, 15 years, so I couldn't tell you what's in it, but I know it's pretty much got very little cheese in it. It's not real. It's all artificial. No.
And there are studies out there now that confirm what you've been saying, that food is what's caused the obesity crisis that we have now in our country, the diabetes crisis that we have in this country,
Mm-hmm.
the heart stuff that's going on, it's affecting your body. That it's not what you think.
No,
We've been misled. Not
no, they make people think it's their fault. Oh, I overeat, or I can't exercise, or I'm addicted to. I just love my, I don't know. It could be candy. It could be anything. It's not because they can't exercise. It's not because they're overeating. It's because of what's in the food. It's the food is what it. Our body wasn't meant to metabolize half these ingredients that's in the foods. I mean, I feel so bad for so many people because it's really not their fault, and calories are not created the same. They tell you that it's not true anymore. They've proven that a fat calorie does something different in the body than a protein calorie than a carbohydrate calorie. They're not created equal when they go into our body and what our body does with them.
and that's it. And the body is trained from God
Mm-hmm.
to process each one of those in a certain fashion. So when you overdo it, it doesn't process right. That's the metabolism
Yeah.
you were talking
And our
about.
body's amazing. I was listening to something this morning was playing, and it said that our cells in our body, I may get it wrong, but is either 3 years or 7 years. In 3 years or in 7 years, we regenerate a whole bunch, and like we've redone our whole body and cells, like they've regenerated, and that's amazing. Our bodies will heal if we allow it to.
It was designed to do that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I mean, if you look at the what you're doing, the natural stuff that you're doing, and other natural medication ways that dealt with, thousands of years ago, that was to help the body do what it
Mm-hmm.
was trained to do.
Yep.
And we need to get there. Well, it looks like we are coming to pretty close to a
the
close
end.
for today. We're so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you so
It's
much for
been,
having me.
and I hope people listen to this, and I hope people contact you. So give them an idea. How do they reach out to you?
So my website is naturalwellnessbyanita.com. I'm on socials, all socials with Natural Wellness by Anita. So it's pretty easy to find. And those are the best ways to reach out to me. You can get on my website and you can book a free consult. No obligation, just talk, see if I'm a right fit for you, see if I can offer something that you want. So
That's great. That's great. Well, again, this is Mike from the Flagler Voice podcast studio coming to you today. Very informational. We're going to sit here after the meeting here and see if we can convince this lady to come back and maybe put on a full show, because I really do, because I know what I've been going through, that the information that she has, it would be such a great help to our community and getting them healthier. So, everybody, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon.